Alright, so I'm gonna put you guys on game with this crazy ass, don't try this shit at home kind of thing, you know what I mean? Look, I'm no stranger to this medical, or this dermatology field to be precise. Because after a victorious 4 to 5 year long battle with this fucking facial acne shit that I used to have, I gained this knowledge on how to heal that issue, you know, even from the inside out, from the outside in. It's almost how much people go to school for this shit, you know, 4 to 5 years, so it only goes to tell. This time it wasn't so much the acne, it was this fucking mosquito bite that kept rubbing up against my neck, yo. And up against my collar. I used to wear this hood too for, work. And that shit would just not help either. Yeah, so this thing turned into this big ass ball on my neck. Shit was annoying. Every time I looked in the mirror, there was that little bastard just whispering like, "Psst, hey, look at me. I'm so fat and you're so ugly." Every time I pressed on it, that shit would hurt. You know, there was no winning with this thing. You know, as I said before, I become a sensei at this art of, like an expert at this art of popping zits, man, from past experiences. But this one took the throne as queen bitch. You know what I mean? I'm saying I put all my fingers twerking this shit,
couch.
and like all my fingers to pop in this bitch, but it wouldn't even open up. I knew from the first attempts of trying to pop this shit that this wasn't a zit. You know what I'm saying? This monstrosity had turned into a fucking epidermoid cyst. That's what you call it. Like, this motherfucking cyst is like a hardened cyst. This is like one that forms underneath the skin. It's underneath this layer called the epidermis. That's why it's called like that. It's something that hardens up. I knew this, but my hard-headed ass was still trying to pop this shit manually because I was a straight up denial having to pay out of pocket for this simple ass surgery. You know what I'm saying? Because the insurance companies classify this any kind of change of appearance surgeries as cosmetic instead of treating it as anything medical, which is fucking absurd. You know, instead they'd rather just gloss over the issue. You know, just instead of treating it. You know what I mean? They just fucking prescribe you antibiotics and fucking creams and bullshit like that. And I'll be damned if these serpents in the medical game try to rip me off of another dollar with their fucking snake oil bullshit. So like any good doctor, I headed to the nearest library, right? The old internet, and paid a visit to my favorite doctor, fucking boss bitch of Zit mercenaries, Miss Pimple Popper and shit. Saw a few techniques on how to extract this annoying ass ball. And I bought myself a little surgeon kit, you know what I'm saying, from Amazon, scalpel and blades included. I put the link in the description below. Not advertise self-mutilation, I'm kidding. But what I will do is tell you this. When the kit arrived, I was pretty psyched to try this out myself, and so I watched like 100 hours of this pimple popping shit, and I even learned how to make the stitch knots with the scissor pincers, and I studied a bunch of vascular anatomy diagrams to ensure I didn't bleed out to death and shit. I cleansed all the utensils needed for the procedure, I pulled out the scalpel and pincers needed, even the little stitch kit that came with it, but only to be stopped by my pussy ass senses. I'm pretty resistant to pain, but this time this shit was just way too sharp. The pain was just way too sharp. I'm usually no retreat, no surrender with this holistic treatment pain, but it's almost a self-preservation trait that we all got psychologically that will not let us get past a certain threshold of pain, because after that the brain senses like mortality and shit. It just doesn't want you to kill yourself and shit. Some people faint, some people retreat. Only a real freak will get through that kind of pain, you know what I'm saying? So I went back to the internet and saw what step I overlooked, and it was only the most obvious one. Fucking anesthetic, man, of course. Yeah, my brawly ass was just gonna leave that one out. So I went back to the internet, checked some shit out, and I found the strongest one, you know what I mean? The good old lidocaine, the fucking topically put, and it's over the counter, so, you know, it was easy to find. And lo and behold, that shit actually worked. The area I had applied the topical formula to was actually now. Watch one last video with the closest similarity to our little buddy here and shit. And I made one simple incision that was more than enough. Check this out, because all I had to do was puncture the epidermis and voila, that motherfucker was just ready to come out right there and then. I saw a little white head wanting to pop out and it almost looked like one of those giving birth videos, you know what I mean? So just grab that motherfucker with the scissor pincers and yank that shit right the fuck out from the root. The rest was just squeezing out the superficial pus and shit and inserting antiseptic. Yeah, the incision was so small I didn't even have to use the suture kit, man, which was a worry off of my weight off my shoulders, because that was something like a procedure that was a little bit more complicated. And your boy only got 2 hands and 2 eyes, and our little fat ass friend was on my neck, so it would have been dicey. So word to the wise man, if the systems aren't changed to where the people can get the treatment needed by the systems in place, then the motherfucking people will take matter into their own hands, and it won't always come in the form of a pretty little goat.